Chocobos. I mean, what can you even say, right? They're up to something, aren't they? You see it too, right? It's not just me. Something's wrong with these big old chickens. These chick, fowl, cock-a-doodle-doo. Okay, that one looks like a slur. I'm not saying that one, dude. That's for sure. These things are objectively odd. 8-foot-tall chickens that speak English? Excuse me? It's weird. A lot of people would say that Chocobos are just one of the mascots of the Final Fantasy series and hand-wave the quirks away as being part of the series' charm. But not me. I'm a little freak on the internet, so I believe something insane. I've been connecting the dots on this for years, and by years I mean the past 3 days, and by the past 3 days I mean about 3 hours total, and I'm ready to blow the lid off this whole thing. It's like a really big chicken. Easy answer, Final Fantasy 1. I mean, it's wrong. It's a wrong answer, but it was really easy for me to say it, so I think technically I'm still correct. The first Chocobos actually appeared in Final Fantasy II, which established them as the premier method of ground transportation for almost every game in the franchise. Now, me personally, I would have picked Crazy Horse from Final Fantasy I. Obviously, the Chocobo is more recognizable, but the Crazy Horse comes with the added benefit of free karate lessons. I was thinking of mentioning how Chocobos have never really changed since being introduced to the franchise. Like, the difference between Chocobo riding in 2 and 16 is just perspective. But then I realized that's what horses in real life are. Like, imagine me standing by the fence of a ranch and ranting at ponies, saying shit like, "It's 2023 and none of you can read? Really? You've been alive for 15 years, gumball? You just been horsing around this whole time?" Yes. Now, I'm gonna tell you my conspiracy theory, but before I do that, I'm gonna lay a solid foundation before I take a hard left turn into the goof zone. Every Final Fantasy game is set in its own world with unique circumstances and events. However, there are a few constant fixtures throughout the games, including cactuars, moogles, and, you guessed it, chocobos. Therefore, it would not be entirely unrealistic to believe that there exists some connective tissue between the Final Fantasy games. Perhaps a Final Fantasy universe, as it were. Maybe a multiverse, even? The Final Fantasy cinematic video game universe / multiverse? The FFCVGU/M? Plus? Does that sound crazy? You'd tell me, right? So if we accept the supposition that maybe, possibly, potentially these worlds are connected, then surely we could accept a little bit more. Chocobos are time-traveling chicken people with interdimensional capabilities whose sole purpose is to protect the timeline and prevent the destruction of worlds on a cosmological scale. And one of them is Chunky. I realize this is a lot to take in, and it probably sounds insane if you haven't been stewing in it like I have, but look, I have evidence to support my claims. I'm proficient in the use of facts and logic, and I know in my heart that the big old chickens are up to something, so let's talk about it. Chocobos are mainly used for travel between places, which is incredibly important for saving the world. When Sephiroth pulls out his very normal-sized sword at Nibelheim and you're on a date with Barret at the Gold Saucer, you need something that'll get you there faster than this manic pixie dream girl can leave Midgar. They're always the first vehicle to help speed you along in your journey, and oftentimes they're capable of doing things that even the later vehicles can't. Oh, and they're fully fluent in whatever language you're playing the game in. Is that not suspicious to you? It's not like people say stay and the Chocobos stay. They can dig up items, protect the president, they can understand tax brackets and price elasticity. One time I had a Chocobo tell me to never buy property in Besaid Village because in 15 years it'll all be underwater. Isn't that nuts? Am I getting more unhinged as the video goes on? I think I just straight up lied about that last part. In the first half of the series, Chocobos are typically found in special forests or woods in key areas. Most people describe them as elegant and majestic creatures. They're almost ethereal in that way. Also, they canonically smell like shit. Chocobos are foul and have a particular odor that in many cases has been lethal. Don't look that up. But what is this odor? Why is it so strange and potent? My theory posits that it is none other than DS, dimensional stank. Now you see, you accrue dimensional stank the longer you spend traveling between dimensions. You know, like all Chocobo have. I've never felt more correct about anything in my life. So let's recap. Chocobos act as mounts and guides to the most critical and dangerous areas in the world. They can understand human speech entirely, regardless of language. They exist primarily in hidden woods and forests whose origins are difficult to explain. And more often than not, they smell like if garbage had feet. You put all of these clues together, and what do they tell you? I'm right. Here's my best guess at the origins of Chocobos. As stated previously, Chocobos did not appear until Final Fantasy II. So what happened in Final Fantasy I? Well, you can go watch this video I made a few months ago, or I could just sum it up for you right now. You want me to sum it up for you right now? Okay. In Final Fantasy 1, this bozo named Garland used time travel to ruin his own life as a joke, and the heroes had to go back in time to save him from himself. I believe these events alerted the most powerful forces of the universe, Big Chicken, to the disruption of the Final Fantasy timeline. Now they have to show up in every Final Fantasy game to ensure that the world isn't destroyed by a very powerful doofus. That's right, Garland's plan was executed so poorly that I now have to learn how to pronounce Gisal Greens? Gisel? Fuck you, Garland. By the way, if my theory is correct and you've ever paid to ride a Chocobo in a Final Fantasy game, you've engaged in interdimensional bird trafficking. Wee woo, bad person alert. Time to go to space jail. What do you think? Did I nail it? In some ways, I feel cursed with knowledge, and maybe a little gassy. I know the Final Fantasy community will be in complete shambles after this video releases, so make sure to like and subscribe so that you can protest the inevitable backlash against the truth. I'm gonna go try to catch all the birds outside my window because I know for a fact they're reporting all of my movements to the Square Enix headquarters. Thanks for watching my video. I made it just for you. I hope you really liked it, because otherwise, you know, I wasted a lot of time. All right, bye.